Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. We have successfully crossed 300 subscribers and I want to thank you all for your support and your subscriptions. If you haven't subscribed yet and this is your first video that you are seeing of me, kindly hit the subscribe button to be part of the family. 19th of October, Valeton released an update. So we are going to take a look at the update, how to update your firmware and the software. At the moment, I'm running the version 1.3.0. What I'll do is to visit the valeton.net and then we head over to the support, then download, and then you see three items that have popped up. So each update, like I said in my previous update and then firmware videos, come with a new manual, a firmware, and then a software. So I'll first go ahead and download the user manual first. So Valeton GP200 EN. The other languages, there's Korean, and then I think there's also Chinese as well. But I'm downloading the English version. So I'll hit the download and then let it do its thing. Let me open a new tab to visit valeton.net again. Go to support. Then I'll head over to the firmware. Then I'll click this and then you realize it's 1.4.0 and then what I have here is 1.3.0. So I'll download this. So it has started downloading. Let me go up again to download, then to the software. So the software will be the first thing that I will install. So GP200 again, so that it will filter. I'm using Mac, so I'll click this. If you are using Windows, you click the WIN. That is also downloading. Okay, so for now the firmware is ready. So I'm going to unzip this. So what I want us to do is to read the release note. In the release note, so for the version 1.4.0, they have increased the number of control for switches to 8. So over here in the 1.3.0, as it stands now, the control switches are 1, 2, 3, and then 4. So we'll have more. And then they added new effects to the mod and then pre-module, which is the freeze and then the hold. At the moment, when you go to the pre, you realize there's nothing like freeze, neither is there anything like hold. Those are two new effects that have been added. They kept that both in the pre and then the mod. So the mod is like the modulation effect. So likewise, there's nothing like freeze and hold over here. And then they added new effects to the pre and then the while. There's nothing like humming over here as well. And then for the while, we only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different types of while. So that's something new that we are expecting in the new update. And then we can now use auto swell in two separate places, which is the pre and then the noise reduction side or noise gate side. So at the moment, auto swell is only in the modulation side. So with the new update, it says it is inside the sum in the pre and then the noise gate block. So over here, there's nothing like auto swell over here. Neither is there any auto swell over here. And then the last part that they added, updates that they did, was for the drums sync function in the looper. But for now, let's try and get the updates on the board and in the software as well. So the software is done downloading. And before we go to install it, let's check on the user manual. So you realize I'm using Firefox as browser for this particular demonstration. So when I click this, it opened the PDF file instead of downloading. So if you're also using Firefox and it shows you something like this, you have to click this particular icon over here. So you realize it is saved. So I'll click it and then I'll save it to my download. And then that'll be all. So I can close out of this. But I believe if you are on probably Chrome or Microsoft Edge, it would just go ahead and download it without having you to do the second step that I just showed. To install the software, I'll have to unzip it again and then double click to install. So it will ask me a few questions. It also show me the release notes that we just read. Continue. Then I'll just go ahead and install. So it's preparing the installation. So I'll have to close this, and then the installation was successful. I would like to keep it for now. So let's see. Let me come over here. GP200. So right out of the box, you realize it is 1.4.0. So it is loading. I'll wait for it to finish loading. And there it is. We've successfully installed or upgraded the software version. So it's left with the firmware. For the firmware, I'll go to the desktop because I kept the firmware in the desktop. Now that I was able to successfully unzip the firmware, realize there are three items over there. We have the release notes that in English that we just read, the firmware itself, which always has an extension of .bin. So look out for that. And then we have the, I think probably Chinese or Japanese or Korean, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, so I'll head over to the software, click this spanner icon or the ranch if you are in America. And then I'll click the firmware. Then I'll click this and then head over to my desktop and then into the unzipped file, which is the GP200 firmware v1.4.0, and then choose the this with the extension .bin. So that's binary. So I'll click open. Immediately I chose that, you realize it shows me update now button over here. So I'm going to wait and then show you one last step before we do the update. So ideally, Valeton will require you to back up all your tones. So you can do this. You can select, I think I'll hold command, scroll to the top till where my own patches end, I think here. So I'll hold control shift and then click this. You realize it selected all of those items on there. So I'm going to export with this button and then yes. So I have to choose a particular place where I would like to export my tones to. So I'll create a new folder and name it as GP200 patches 2023. So now that I've been able to do that, the folder is selected and then I click open. When I click open, it will ask me, am I sure I want to do this? And also the third-party IRs that I used for some of the tones wouldn't be there. But we'll look at how we are going to resolve that issue. So I'll click continue and then the patches are exported successfully. So now if I click this and go to my desktop, you realize all my patches that were created are here. There are 93 in all. Wow. I don't really created so much patches. Anyway, so that is how to export your patches before you do your update. Now to the third-party IRs. The third-party IRs start from after the double bass or the double bass. So from here till mine, I think it occupies up to like 15 or so. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, 13. I'd like to take a screenshot of this. And then one last one. And then that will be all. So I'll use it to reference the order in which my IRs occur so that I don't mix some of them, because in the memory of the patches, they remembered the position of the user IR. So this is 14, this is 15, this is 16, up to like 20. So that's the 20th one. And also, you have to make sure your third party IRs are on your PC if you downloaded them from somewhere online, or probably you kept it on a different PC or in your Google Drive. You should have to download them and then have them on your machine. I already have that, so I wouldn't do that again. So I'll click this wrench or spanner icon again and then choose the location of the firmware and then click update now. So like I said earlier, to prevent data loss during firmware update, please back up your user patches first. So we've already done that. They'll ask you, are you sure you want to continue? You click continue and then make sure all your presets are backed up properly. So basically, they warn you again before you enter. So continue. Now, when it is updating, it looks like this. On the PC, we have been able to update the software, the firmware, and you have also downloaded the user manual as well. So basically, if you were wondering initially how to go about this particular new 1.4.0 update, this is how to go about it. So now let's check from the release notes that we had earlier. So it said the control switches have been increased up to 8. So obviously this is what's there now. So initially I used to use just 4. Usually this is my pre block. This was my DST block. This usually used to be my modulation block or the mod block, and then this used to be my delay block. So now that they've added control 5, 6, 7, and 8, I might not probably use all the 8 now. Probably in the future, when I discover something else, I'll extend. But if I'm to use all of those, I will set the control 5 to be my reverb so that I could turn on and off the reverb at will. So basically, this is how the update made it now. So we have 8 control switches, and the modern and the pre, the freeze and the hold. So the pre, this is how the hold looks like. This is how the freeze looks like. And then we have the auto swell in the noise reduction side or the noise gate block. We also have the freeze and hold in the modulation block or the mod block, as well as the auto swell. And then last, we also have the humming. So the humming is basically like a pitch shifter wah, sort of. It looks like this. That's how the pedal looks like. So this is just a simulation of that particular pedal on the Valeton GP200. So I just checked the IR side or the cap block, and then I realized all my loaded IRs are still in the same position that I uploaded them. So basically, yeah, this the it from Valeton so far, and this is how to update your board, and subscribe to this particular channel for more Valeton videos. Thanks for watching. Sorry for the long video. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. See you next time.